Alright guys, hello. Sorry, I'm just getting everything ready. So, I have no idea how this is gonna sound. I think it'll sound fine. I'm just recording it because I'm doing this theory video really fast. I'm trying something new. Theories! I tried theory videos a long time ago on something I wasn't really passionate about. But now I'm thinking, I like theories. I like theories. I love God of War, so I think I'll do a theory video. Not something really like that important. Like, I'm not doing major story stuff like that, but it does involve some sort of story elements to it. What this is, and you probably saw the title, is my theory on how we will acquire Thor's hammer. I will not try to say the name because I'll just butcher it. Mjölnir. Okay, I searched out Mjölnir. I'm sorry, I can't really say it, but anyways, Thor's hammer, and how we will keep Thor's hammer, because obviously you know, or you should know. In God of War, the universe, for Ragnarok, Thor is supposed to be at the final battle, I believe, according to like a shrine. But in order for us to, if Thor's hammer is the weapon, which obviously it is, it's in the Mjölnir edition, it's in the collector's edition, which by the way, I got the Mjölnir edition, and I can't wait for that to arrive. So obviously, it's the most teased weapon. Basically, it was teased at the end of this game. I'll actually play that teaser right now while I'm talking. Which was at the end of the game, you go back to your house and you see Thor, and it says many years later. Now, how will we get this, but at the same time have Thor fight in the Battle of Ragnarok? Because the Battle of Ragnarok is going to be the final battle in, excuse me, in God of War Ragnarok, probably, because it's Ragnarok, the battle. Yeah. So how is Thor going to be there with his hammer? But we're supposed to get, or obviously, if we get another weapon, we're probably going to get it like halfway through the game, like the Blades of Chaos, so then we can get used to it for the final battle. How are we going to do that? But also, have Thor still alive and have his hammer too. So this is actually going to be me changing up and continuing a theory by the YouTuber Captain Kuba. He's a very popular God of War YouTuber. Go and watch him. I love to watch him. He's very nice person. I'm hoping that maybe even sometime in the future we could talk God of War and stuff. But obviously, I'm sort of new to God of War. I've only been doing it for like a year and stuff like that, and I haven't recorded much of it. But anyways, Captain Cuba's theory on how we will acquire Thor's hammer, but he didn't really finish it out. I can't remember which video, or I think it was a live stream which he said this. He briefly mentioned it, and I'm going off of memory. He said that Kratos will travel into the future, where he'll find either a future version of Thor or a different version of Thor from a different timeline, or the timeline where we don't win, or we don't succeed in stopping Ragnarok, and then we get Thor's hammer there, and then we come back, and then that's kind of where his theory ends. So I'm going to be adding on to that theory that it's a very good theory. I think that's probably the most likely reason, or we just kill Thor halfway through the game and they kind of retcon some stuff, but I don't think Santa Monica would do that. Me adding on to that theory, I think when we travel into the future, everyone will be dead, like all the gods, everything. And we'll find basically a pile of like bodies, and maybe Thor's on it or underneath it, and we just see his hand and then his hammer just laying there. And then Kratos like casually picks it up like, oh, this would be good, and then puts it on. And Atreus is like, you know what that is, right? He's like, yeah, a new weapon for my, in the sassy Kratos sarcastic thing, because we know Kratos all of a sudden likes being sarcastic now, which is sort of funny.
You are hunting deer.
Which way?
In the direction of deer.
But, how will we keep that? We'll find whatever we need to do to get back to the present timeline. I personally think we'll accidentally go into the future. Like, I don't think we would purposely go and see all the gods and whatever dead after Ragnarok. I think whatever we use for time travel, because I think there will be time travel in this game. I think it's already confirmed by Corey or whatever, or highly speculated, whatever. We accidentally, like, we mess it up or whatever, we accidentally go into the future, and that's when we get the hammer, we get it, and we fix it or whatever, and then we come back. And how do we keep that, though? Because obviously, now there's going to be two hammers, so I'm thinking at the Battle of Ragnarok, it'll be Kratos versus Thor during one of the battles, and we'll eventually kill Thor using his own hammer from the future. And as soon as we kill him, as soon as we like drop the hammer on him or like smash his face in with the hammer in some gory way or whatever, our hammer from the future will disappear, but the current Thor's hammer we'll stay there and we'll pick that up, and it'll be like nothing ever happened. It'll be like nothing ever happened. We got the same exact hammer, just from the present time instead of the future. Sort of like in an Endgame Dusk kind of way, like or Phase Ashes, like the hammer will just disappear out of our hands, like in Golden Dust or whatever, like, because that timeline never exists where Thor doesn't die to like the snow or the cold of Ragnarok or whatever. Instead, he dies to the hands of Kratos. And so, yeah, that's just my little theory. If there's anything wrong with that or anything that you guys want to add, please put it down in the comments below or correct me in any ways. And pick up present hammer. Now, I want to talk about combat with the hammer. So obviously, this entire video, I'm 90% sure that we are going to be getting the hammer as our other weapon in Ragnarok. I think it would be amazing. Now, a lot of people, especially me in the beginning, but now I'm less worried, we're worried about how it would play, because we already have like an axe that we can call back and stuff like that. But here's the thing. I believe, because right now Kratos with Phase Axe, the Leviathan Axe, can like twirls it around, and it's very light. It's a very lightish weapon, and so he can like twirl it around. He does like his fancy stuff with it. He can like throw it and it like spins, and then he recalls it back and all that stuff. Like just a bunch of fancy, almost like a dance, which is what a lot of this combat is, because the weapons are sort of light. I think Thor's hammer is going to be our like heavyish weapon. Obviously, the Leviathan axe has a heavy throw, which throws it slower. But I think Thor's hammer is going to be heavy but fast. So that's one. I think it's going to be heavier than the Leviathan attack. So we can't do like the fancy dance moves. It's going to be more of our big powerhouse weapon. Like we throw it and then it comes back. Like there's not really much combos with it. Like the only combos I could see is like throwing it, recalling it, throwing it, recalling it, and like doing a and then like on the fourth recall it like knocks Kratos back a little bit because of how heavy it is. Another thing, runic attacks would probably be electricity based, like electricity waves. That's probably, in my opinion, like a heavy throw, where like he throws it forward like really fast and it like blasts a bunch of energy, but it blasts through a bunch of enemies. But then around it, there's no way of really me like demonstrating this, but like around it, it will like electrocute enemies in an area around it as it goes through. I'm just thinking about like if you guys haven't seen Thor: Love and Thunder yet, minor spoilers, but sort of when Thor, ready, 3, 2, 1, Thor, when he like empowers all the children and like his electricity flows through all that, I'm just imagining a hammer blasting through that and like electricity like flowing to all the other enemies, stunning them or like doing minor damage and all that stuff. Just like a big AoE thing. And then another thing could be where Kratos like jumps up in the air and then slams it down as like a mega heavy attack, and just like a wave of electricity goes around him. Like it doesn't do that much damage to enemies unless like it lands right on top of an enemy, but instead it does a lot of electrical damage. That could be another runic attack that it could do, because obviously we know Kratos can now use the Blades of Chaos to get up to ledges, so there's gonna be more vertical combat. So I could see something like like some sort of clip of like some very popular good God of War player going up in the air and hitting like a dark elf or a light elf on the way down, using that and like insta-killing it, but also like electrocuting all the other light elves in the area or whatever. What's next? Oh, here's another thing. So I'm going to show you a little bit of gameplay of me using a heavy runic attack of the Leviathan axe, where he basically throws it and it goes to a bunch of different enemies. I think the hammer, when returning to us, because you know how the Leviathan axe can hit like 1 or 2 enemies on the way back, depending on what pommel you have or your luck. I think the hammer will purposely, as a feature, without any pommels or anything, seek out enemies and hit them. Like, I'm just imagining us recalling it, and it hits like 10 enemies, like almost in a circle before it comes back to us. Because that could, again, spice it up. It's not in like an instant comeback. It's more of something they use like heavy, and then you gotta wait a while for it. Or while it's coming back, you could switch to like your Leviathan axe and hit an enemy like that, and then it returns. So I think it's going to hit a bunch of enemies either on the way there or on the way back. At least that's what I'm hoping, or my theory, for just based on how Thor's hammer is in the MCU, in the Marvel MCU. Because we have no idea if Thor can really summon his hammer like the Leviathan axe. I bet he will. Like, I bet he will, because we don't know if he can fly with it. Actually, do we know if he can fly with it or not? I think he can. I don't know. But anyways, we don't know if he'll recall it, but obviously I think he will be able to recall it and stuff like that, or then this entire theory is just like out the window. But yeah. So, a bonus theory. A quick bonus theory that's kind of fun, and I'll say this while the Baldur fight's going on at the beginning. I don't think that this is going to happen, if I'm being truly honest. But I saw this concept art a long time ago of someone drew Kratos with his axe in the right hand and Thor's hammer in the left hand. This sparks an idea. What happens if maybe we're able to, like, maybe press 2 buttons at the same time, or during some sort of combo, or maybe it's like an option that we can use, like maybe by using the touchpad or something like that, like swiping on it, is if we're able to dual wield the hammer and the Leviathan axe at the same time. So like hack and slashing with that, maybe use R1 and L1 instead of being able to block with L1 anymore. We're able to either hit with the hammer in our left hand or hit with the Leviathan axe in our right hand by doing L1 and R1 and boom boom and like hack and slash and stuff like that. And maybe in order to throw them, we can throw them both at the same time or whatever, and then recall them both as it's really just a bonus thing. I don't think that's gonna happen. It would be cool if that happened, but I don't think so. Or something like we smash like the two like metal thing, like the hammer and the axe together, and it creates like a wave of ice and electricity, just bang. And so maybe something like that. But really, the big parts of this video, I think in order to get Thor's hammer, we're gonna go to the future. After the Battle of Ragnarok, and Ragnarok has happened and like basically killed all the gods, pick up Thor's hammer from either his dead body or like a weak Thor's dead body, or weak Thor body, but I think it'll probably be dead, and just pick it up. Then once we actually kill present Thor, our old hammer, the future hammer will disappear, and we'll pick up the present one. I think Thor's hammer is going to be very heavy, so the attacks aren't going to be as not like a dance, less control, as I should say. Like, you throw it and really it's going to do a lot of its own thing. Hit a bunch of enemies on the way back instead of coming straight back to you. But yeah, that's what I think. Anyways, if you guys liked this, this theory, write in the comments below. I love the theory. Like. Also, if you haven't subscribed, it helps me. I will be recording God of War Ragnarok, and if the hammer is the weapon that we get, and it works like I say it, I can officially say, hey, I theorized about that. I was right. But anyways, I need to get all the clips together and stuff like that, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!